Members, it's the appointed time. We have a quorum. I call to order the meeting of the panel on transport. Agenda item number 1, information paper issued since last meeting. Since last meeting, no information papers have been issued. Item number 2, items for discussion at the next meeting. Please refer to CB bracket 3690/2025 brackets 01, the list of outstanding items for discussion. CB bracket 3690/2025 brackets 02, the list of follow-up actions. The next meeting will take place on the 20th of June, Friday, between 10:45 and 12:45 p.m. The administration proposed to discuss the following 2 items. 1. Review of tunnel tolls. 2. Implementation of smart mobility initiatives. Any views from members? If members agree, we'll discuss these 2 items at the next meeting. Mr. Champui-Leung, well, I have no views on these 2 items, but on the combating of ride-hailing services, the regulation of such platforms will be announced soon. This matter is close to the heart of the community. In our discussion with the administration, can we advance the discussion of regulating online car-hailing platforms and strengthening efforts to combat illegal carriage of passengers for hire or reward? All right, let's forward the view to the Transport and Logistics Bureau. This issue is close to the heart of the industry. There are a lot of views in society. All of us look forward to knowing the future directions of this initiative. So yes, we'll remain in talks with the Transport and Logistics Bureau. Next, Mr. Andrew Lam. I agree with Mr. Chan. If we can arrange for the discussion of this agenda item, we need to have sufficient time. All right. Thank you, Mr. Andrew Lam. I will relay your view to the Transport and Logistics Bureau. This issue is of great interest among members and among members of the public. I will relay your view to the Transport and Logistics Bureau. Any more views? No? All right. We will arrange for the discussion of these 2 items, that is, review of tunnel tolls and the implementation of smart mobility initiatives. In relation to hailing services, car hailing services, I will relay members' views to the Transport and Logistics Bureau. Thank you. Agenda item number 3, action plan to enhance the maintenance strategies of public roads. We'll now invite the administration to join us. Members, please refer to CB bracket 3690/2025 brackets 03. It is an information paper provided by the administration. LegCo Secretariat has also prepared a background brief. CB bracket 3690/2025 brackets 04. Welcome, representatives. We have with us Ms. Lam, Acting Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics 1, Mr. Richard Ng, Deputy Director of Highways Department, Mr. Chen Wai-tak, Regional Highway Engineer, Mr. Alan Chan, Acting Regional Highway Engineer from the Highways Department as well. Welcome. Deputy Secretary Ms. Lam has prepared a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to invite Ms. Lam to take us through the papers. Members who would like to speak, please press the button to request to speak. I'll give each member questions and answers included 4 minutes. Thank you. Ms. Lam, thank you, Chairman. Together with the Highways Department, I'm going to brief members on the maintenance strategies of public roads. The Highways Department is responsible for maintaining 6,600 km of public carriageways. Contracts are signed with contractors to carry out regular inspections in order to ensure the safety and reliability of public carriageways. Hong Kong is a densely populated city. We are facing a lot of challenges, including aging road infrastructures, increased prevalence of heavy electric vehicles, growing traffic volume, and so on. Members of the public have higher expectations on public roads. That's why we need to come up with different strategies to improve the reliability and safety of public carriageways. This March, we have set up a committee that is Strategic Road Maintenance Committee headed by the Deputy Director of Highways. We use digitalization, innovative technologies to improve the management of public carriageways. We also use new materials and work with different departments to carry out large-scale road maintenance projects. And I'll give the floor to the Highways Department to take members through the strategies we have implemented. We're then happy to take members' questions. Thank you, Ms. Lam. All right, which official will take us through the papers? Mr. Chen from the Highways Department. All right, thank you. Please be succinct. Members are well up in the papers. Thank you. I'll spend around 4 minutes. Thank you. I'll now talk about the enhancement of maintenance strategies of public roads. The Highways Department is responsible for maintaining and repairing 6,600 km of public carriageways. We use contracts to carry out inspections and we engage contractors as well. We are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to repairing roads, such as aging road infrastructures, growing traffic volume, aging construction workers, as well as different difficulties facing us. This March, we set up the Strategic Road Maintenance Committee headed by the Deputy Director of Highways. We have invited the Hong Kong Police Force, Transport Department, EPD, as well as the HAD to provide opinions and assistance. We aim at promoting and monitoring the maintenance strategies of public roads. We adopt 3 main strategies. 1. We adopt innovative technologies to promote digitalized management in order to improve the efficiency of maintenance works. For example, we adopt vehicle-borne ground penetration radar to identify underground conditions using a non-excavation method in order to identify suspicious conditions as early as possible. The test was already been put in place in the first quarter of this year. Next, in relation to Road Defect Detection System (RDDS), every 3 months the contractor uses this system to identify any suspicious conditions and effectively carry out an inspection to enhance the accuracy of road inspections and efficiency of maintenance works. Next, in relation to RCAS, that is the Road Condition Assessment System, is being put on trial in some road maintenance contracts. Next, coming to Road Maintenance Monitoring Systems, RMMS, is being adopted in all road maintenance contracts. We also adopt auto tunnel inspection equipment to develop automatic equipment to inspect the tunnel conditions in Hong Kong. The modified inspection vehicle you can see on the screen right now is being used in Scenic Hill Tunnel. In landslides, confined space, cross-harbor bridge, as well as aerial structures, we employ SUA small unmanned aircraft or vehicles, SUV, to carry out the relevant inspection. Strategy number 2. New materials are adopted to carry out maintenance works. We use more durable bituminous materials, paving materials, to carry out such works. They are more durable by 30%. In Shenzhen Bay Bridge as well as Gloucester Road, these materials are being used. We also use low noise road surfacing, HMSMA6. They can reduce tire road noise by 2.5 decibel. They are being used in Waijun Road as well as in the Western Harbour Crossing, Kowloon exit or entrance area. Such materials are highly modified friction cores, and they are 7% more durable than conventional materials. We'll continue to keep in view the new materials being used in mainland China as well as in overseas countries. One example is semi-flexible pavement. We also work with the experts in the GBA, and we look into introducing ultra-high performance concrete in order to look into the viability of using such concrete to repair existing roads. Through the Strategic Road Maintenance Committee, we arrange for large-scale road maintenance works. In Central Kowloon route, we explored the possibility of implementing temporary traffic measures on Longchang Road. Thank you, Mr. Chen. I now open the floor for members to ask questions. 10 members have pressed the button to request to speak. I will assign a 4-minute time limit to members. The lineup is Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Stanley Lee, Mr. Scott Lang, Mr. Chen Hockfeng, Mr. Perry Yu, Mr. Chen Pui Lang, Dr. Ben Chen, Mr. Frankie Yik, Mr. Yim Kong, Dr. Lo Wai Kwok. 4 minutes each. First member, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you. This paper talks about a lot of new technologies as well as new materials. I support this direction. Regarding the new materials and new technologies, which will be used on a regular basis, if they are still in the testing stage, do you have any trial period for such new materials and new technologies? If no timeline is confirmed, I'd also like to ask about the cost effectiveness of these works. Will these technologies help reduce manpower? Thank you. 2 questions. Will Ms. Lam or Mr. Ng, Mr. Richard Ng take these questions? Mr. Ng. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Andrew Lam. Regarding new technologies, as for vehicle-borne ground penetration radar, as well as the road defect detection system RDDS and the road condition assessment system RCAS, as well as the semi-flexible paving material, they are still being tested, so they haven't been fully put in use. In relation to new materials such as RMMS and AI road condition testing system, these have been implemented on the roads. In relation to radar system or vehicle-borne ground penetration radar, when these technologies have become mature, we will put them to full use. This is our direction at present. In relation to cost effectiveness, these new materials are more durable, so we are expecting less frequent repairs, hence a lower repair cost. They will also be less disturbing to members of the public. We don't have to put in place road closure as frequently as we did in the past. We don't have any detailed breakdown at present. We still need some time to gauge the cost effectiveness of these materials and technologies. But at present, we consider that the cost effectiveness can be reduced, and there will also be less disturbance caused to members of the public, while at the same time we can improve the road conditions. This is more important. Thank you.
Any follow-up from Mr. Leung? Just some minor technical points. When it comes to LDDS and LCAS, is there any overlapping in functions or for these two systems? Now, for LDDS, now we have devices installed to our petrol cars. It will keep taking pictures and they will be uploaded to our system. AI is used to confirm the road conditions. Once AI is used, is of course high speed, but then the accuracy is not as high. So for road markings, discoloration, the system can very quickly detect them, so are cracks. But when it comes to accuracy, for instance, whether there are bumps on roads, we have to rely on the laser system, because the laser system is very fine, and so the data is quite voluminous and time is needed. So on a day-to-day basis, we use a simple LDDS to find out defects on the roads and carry out rapid repairs. We use the LCAS to collect more detailed data in order to plan for longer-term road repair works. Because of resource limitations, we have to prioritize our works, and so we use both to strike a balance. The two may look similar in function, but then the use is a bit different because of the difference in speed. We have different users for the two systems. Thank you. Mr. Stanley Lee. Thank you. Well, maintenance of our strategic road, well, our strategy is a bit dated, so I support the new action plan for motorists. We know that whenever there are downpours, there are potholes and on the road, and I thought we can expedite the whole action plan. I've got a few questions. First, I understand you're going to deploy technology to collect data on road conditions. I'd like to know the coverage, because as explained by the administration, we have so many kilometers of roads. I'd like to know the coverage of your new action plan. And what about the computing of data collected? What sort of conclusions will be available to assess your repair and maintenance? I'd like to know the computing power of your system. We heard that the traditional ways are not that desirable, but many motorists have reflected to us that whether we're talking about newly paved highways or old ones, there are many drain covers or manhole covers. I think it has to do with the design of our carriageways. I would have thought that we have fewer such manhole covers in newly constructed carriageways, but then there are still as many. So is there any way to change the current design? Many people already driving from Hong Kong to the mainland, and they can tell the difference. We're told that you may consider using bituminous materials developed in the mainland. So for higher quality surface material. Now, I have driven on the Shamchen Beihe road, and I feel that the surface material there is superior. Is there a big difference in terms of cost? Mr. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Lee. Now, for the LCAS using laser, we have 6,600 kilometers of public carriageways in Hong Kong. We hope to cover all of them once every year. I said the LCA is capable of inspecting about 200 kilometers per day. That means we can cover all carriageways in Hong Kong once a year. And then we can come up with data. For instance, defects. We can then find out the defects per kilometer on our road, such as gutting and potholes. Such data collected will come up with a pavement condition index. And so scientifically, we can prioritize repair and maintenance works for different road sections. Of course, for real emergency, we will carry out repair works at once. In the long run, we need the LCS to help us. What about the computing power? And also the question of manhole covers. Now, our design is to minimize the number of such covers. Many of them are rainstorm drains, and we have already come up with ways to reduce the number of covers. Now, we need covers for manholes. That means we need to reduce the number of manholes. We're already doing that. In our new design, we will have fewer such covers. What about use of surfacing materials? Now we're using a highly modified material. It is quite close to what's being used in the mainland. Yes, in Hong Kong the cost may be a little bit higher, but then less maintenance is required. So balancing it, the cost is roughly the same. Mr. Lam and Kwong. Yes, I do agree that our highway departments are doing very hard to deal with the potholes and defects on our roads to ensure the comfort and safety of motorists. However, I've got two questions for the department. First, the new surfacing materials. We're told from the PPT presentation that you have tested. Therefore, old materials, or rather, you have made progress in terms of anti-fatigue and anti-deformation performance. I know that the new material is being used in Tsuen Wan. Do you have intention to extend it to other areas? Hong Kong is rather old in many areas. We need noise barriers. For instance, on the West Kowloon Expressway, from the section from Tai Kwok Choi to the Four Dragons in Sam Shui Po, the noise is affecting people. And also the West Kowloon Expressway, there are coastal residential developments, including public housing, suffering noise, and there are complaints. I'd like to know whether already using such material in these road sections, or is there any opportunity to apply these new surfacing materials to road sections where you have more noise complaints. And I'd like to talk about comfort. Now, in the inner streets of Sam Shui Po, we have many road openings and then road maintenance. As a result, the level at different road sections is different. That doesn't just be in Tung King Street, in Yam Chao Street, and also Mongkok Road and Yam Chim Mong, because the roads were repaired at different times and the levels are different and they are very much like patchwork. I'd like to know whether you can deploy technology to ensure the levelness of roads and whether you can have new engineering technology to enhance the comfort of drivers. Mr. Ng, thank you. Mr. Leung talked about noise-reducing materials. There was a material with a similar road tire noise reduction performance as the new ones. However, we need pores in order to absorb sound or noise. And because of that, they are not so durable at road junctions in particular. So we have used a new highly modified stone mestatic alpha material to reduce road tire noise. So we have carried out a trial scheme in Chun Wan, and the result is quite desirable. In future, if there are sections when noise barriers cannot be installed and we can use new low noise road surfacing material, I'm sure they will be widely applied in new highways. As for existing roads, we have to review whether we should repave them with the new material. What about the levelness, the gradient of roads? Yes, our LDDS can actually test for that. Sometimes we do see that in our roads because road closures are not that easy. We can only close a section of road for a very short time, so we can work on a very small section. So we work on these sections bit by bit, and as a result, it is difficult to ensure that the road is entirely level. So we have to use the CAS. And if we spot such defects, we will have larger scale maintenance works, but then a longer period of road closure will be required. Mr. Yu Pak Leung, thank you. Last year, I did a survey covering the Central and Western District, and we saw more than 200 road defects, and then we forwarded the problems to the Highways Department, and very soon over 80% of the defects were rectified by the Highways Department. The Highways Department as well as the term contractors do respond quite swiftly to such problems, but have they look into the structural issues? Because in Hong Kong, we like to drive to different places for sightseeing, and you can see that in other places, the road conditions are much better than ours. The roads do not have so much defects. I have a friend who recently visited Japan, and they drove themselves and even in rural roads, the conditions were much better than that in Hong Kong. Is it because of a problem with the foundation of our roads? For Hong Kong Island in the Central Western District, because they were very old areas, there might be inherent long-standing problems that cannot be resolved so easily. But then we have seen the same thing in new roads. So maybe we have to improve the foundation works. Maybe you have to do something to our road bank so that there won't be settlement and subsidence so seriously. So you may need to carry out an overall survey of such things. And now you just patch up problems on a piecemeal manner. But in fact, they cannot last for more than a couple of days. So do you have better ways to address such problems? Or rather you close a road for a day and then you fix a problem quickly. That is better than having poor road conditions, because we have seen that quite frequently in old areas. This morning, I had a site visit with your colleagues in slopes. You have those anti-slip sand, which is not durable at all. Very often, it will come off after a year. And unless people complain to you, you will not repair the slopes. So will you take the initiative to inspect roads with anti-slip material once half a year so as to ensure safety?
Mr. Ng, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chan, for identifying such road conditions so that we can follow up on them immediately on whether these are structural issues. The roads in Hong Kong are very busy, so when it comes to road closures, oftentimes it's quite difficult. We cannot close the roads for a long time. In the evening, road closures will lead to noise issues. So at present, we conduct road repairs in relation to the surface of roads. When it comes to the foundation of the roads, we might not be able to conduct large-scale road base repairs. That's exactly why we set up a strategic committee. We work with different government departments to see how we can effect large-scale road closures in order to carry out repair works. And these conditions are quite common in bituminous pavements or roads. We have identified ways or band-aid solutions to patch up road conditions. We have introduced such technologies from overseas. We are already testing this method. They are more durable. These methods may last a few months, in contrast to the existing methods which can only last us a few days. We are looking into the use of heat to carry out road repairs. We may even work on a small section of the road in the evening. When it comes to anti-skid dressing, we rely on glue. We are trying to search for better quality glue all around the world, and we are looking for such materials so that the anti-skid dressing can last us a longer time. Thank you. Mr. Perry Yu. Thank you. The Highways Department is going to use innovative technologies, new materials, as well as other new technologies to enhance the maintenance strategies of public roads. I go along with these directions, but I'd like to ride on Mr. Chen Hockfeng's point when it comes to patching up of the road conditions in rainy seasons ahead of traffic lights. Oftentimes, we see potholes. 48 hours after the Highways Department receives report about potholes, the Highways Department will address these issues. But I'd like to ask about the reporting mechanism of potholes. Say we're motorists and we might not be in a good position to take pictures of these potholes. However, pedestrians may not be so concerned about such potholes. So will the police carry out patrols and report potholes on roads? What is the current mechanism on the use of new technologies? You are employing AI to inspect road conditions. Road safety, there are 3 fronts. 1. Whether there are any potholes on the road. 2. Whether there is any litter on the roads. And whether the road markings and the lanes are clearly marked. Can your policies ensure safety of the roads through these 3 fronts? There's litter on the roads, and no one clears such litter on the roads. Can we employ AI to solve this problem? Some road markings have been discolored. Say in Tatsking Tunnel, when you leave the tunnel and turn left into Siu Lek Yun, oftentimes we see discolored road markings. We need to think of methods to reduce costs and to ensure a more reliable road repair method. Thank you. Mr. Ng, on the employment of new technologies to identify road defects and improve road conditions. Thank you. On the reporting mechanism, first of all, there are many avenues. 1823 is one of the methods, and I believe many members of the public are familiar with this hotline. You can call us up, and then we can follow up on the conditions you have reported. You can either fax, call us, or leave a message through a mobile app. Or you can directly call us up. You can call the Highways Department, or you can also email us. You can access our website and report any road conditions you have identified. In addition to that, we also carry out proactive investigations. Whenever we identify any road conditions, we'll solve these issues. Potholes on the roads are close to our heart. Our performance pledge is 48 hours, but we have managed to solve these issues within 24 hours. We'll do our level best to solve these problems, but in the event of any hiccups, we may need a longer time. In relation to litter, potholes on roads, or even discolored road markings, can we solve these problems in one go? The RDDS can help us solve these issues with the help of AI. Whenever they identify such road conditions, there will be a report the other day automatically. And the next morning, we'll follow up on these issues. Potholes, litter, discolored road markings, our system can cover these issues. When it comes to expressways, we immediately solve these problems. And we also work with other departments to solve other problems. There isn't any delay. We solve these problems immediately. Next, Mr. Chan Pui-Leung. Thank you. On the use of new technologies and new materials to improve road conditions, as well as to enhance the efficiency of road maintenance works, I agree. On the noise level of roads as well as the driving comfort on the roads, these are close to our hearts. There's asphalt as well as concrete on some roads. There is also highly modified asphalt. They are low noise road surfacing materials. In the future, will we use such materials to construct new roads? And at present, when will you use concrete and when will you use asphalt? When it comes to the safety of road maintenance projects, in the evening especially, sometimes motorists crash into these roadworks at high speed. On the introduction of new technologies, have you drawn reference from other countries' practice, say traffic cones on the roads? Is there any way for us to prevent accidents stemming from roadworks or maintenance roadworks? Mr. Richardson, concrete differs from asphalt. Concrete does have its own advantages. It's more durable, it's harder. So when it comes to heavier vehicles or at junctions, bus stops, it's more desirable to use concrete instead of asphalt. The use of asphalt may require more repairs. Highly modified asphalt may not be as hard as concrete. On the 1st of April, we already introduced the use of highly modified concrete. So we've started using this new material to pave our roads in Hong Kong. It will become more and more common in the future. However, concrete does have its own advantages. So our professionals will gauge whether we should use concrete or asphalt. We attach much importance to road safety as well as the safety of maintenance works. Frontline workers as well as colleagues in the highways carry out such works in the evening sometimes. Safety is an issue. We have revised requirements in relation to road closures, such as anti-crash vehicles as well as the placement of traffic cones. We have already put traffic cones on some roads, but still, some motorists still crash into the anti-crash vehicles. We need to protect not just our frontline workers, but also motorists. Otherwise, there will be dire consequences if these motorists crash into concrete. This is our practice. It's seen in the mainland China as well as in overseas countries. When it comes to the use of new technologies, we'll have to liaise with the relevant departments. We may not necessarily buy new technologies, but we may put in place speed limits, say from 80 km per hour, the speed will be lowered to 50 km per hour. We need to let drivers know in advance. Then, when they slow down in advance, it will be better. And I will discuss the viability of this issue of this measure with the police. Next member, Dr. Ben Chen. Thank you. I need to commend the work of the Highways Department. Tuen Mun Highway near Shamchang. Heavy goods vehicles may cause issues on some sections of the road. There are uneven road surfaces. For Taichung Road, there are uneven road surfaces. And recently, I have seen the use of new materials to improve the conditions. As member mentioned, repair arrangements leave much to be desired. Repairs projects take place not at the same time. You first deal with 2 km of the road. A few months later, you proceed to deal with the other section of the road. This is far from satisfactory. You already said that you would improve the arrangements of repairs, so I look forward to improvements. In relation to the materials of paving, the paving materials, probably the melting point is too low. You are now willing to use some new materials, but I'm not sure whether they are comparable to the materials used in mainland China. What are the differences between the new and the old materials? After you have introduced new materials, what is the performance? Will you have to change your materials after you have introduced new materials? Now you're willing to use new technologies, and this is indeed very good. There's a lot of gravel on the roads. For the vehicles collecting gravel, they emit a lot of dust and sand. Many machines and equipment in mainland China are quite advanced. Can we use new equipment or machines to carry out such works? In relation to vegetations on the roadside, the tree trimming cycles may be too long. This may give the impression to visitors to Hong Kong that it takes a very long time to trim trees. Thank you.
Mr. Please be very succinct. I'll do my best. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Now, this action or this committee is exactly doing what you were talking about. We hope to have longer term, larger scale maintenance, so we don't have to do it in a piecemeal manner. Now, the new material using is quite close to that being used on the mainland. The melting point is very, very high. Now, as a result, it will not be easily deformed by heat generated from vehicles. But then it takes longer to pave, and when we work on it, we have to maintain a certain high temperature in order to do it. And as for sweeping and gravels on roadsides, we are using our road sweeping vehicles. They are special ones. Of course, there are newer models on the mainland. The technology is similar, but it's worthwhile to discuss with our contractors. Perhaps their vehicles are rather old-fashioned, and we should replace them with newer ones to reduce the emission of smoke ducts. And for weeding, yes, we will weed roadside lawns more frequently. And we're trying to use environmental-friendly agent to remove the grass, because if it is too toxic, we may affect the environment. The chemical may find its way to our rainwater drains. However, such herbicide may not be too effective, but then we are deploying manpower to tackle that problem. Mr. Frankie Yik, thank you. I'm pleased to learn that the Highways Department are using new technology in the maintenance of our roads. I'm interested in the use of new material for repaving our road. Now, you say that you have this HMSMA10. And for low noise road surfacing material, the thickness is 6 mm, and you've also got highly modified friction cores to reduce friction. I'd like to know the different conditions for deploying different materials. I'd like to know whether there is a difference. Some members asked about the cost-effectiveness of such materials. Now, if they're a bit costly but effective, I support you, because we can reduce the social cost to the public. by using better materials. Now, for Princess Road approaching the Hong Ham Harbor Crossing, now, I think it is very dangerous. The road surface there is very uneven. You should attend to it. Thank you, Mr. Yik, for your question. Now, for the highly modified stone mastic asphalt, one is 10 mm in thickness, the other is 6 mm. Now, they are using high temperature asphalt. The material is more or less the same, but they have their pros and cons. HMSMA6 is used to generate pores for noise to absorb noise. Usually, in the mainland, they use 6 mm. In Hong Kong, we use 10 mm. It is more durable. And as for the permeable, porous, friction-caused materials, it is not used not so frequently on the mainland, but we use here in all our highways. One merit is for drainage of water from our road surface very quickly should there be heavy rainfall, so that the road is not so slippery. So different materials are used for fixing different problems. That's very clear. And the second question is about cost effectiveness. So I think it's worthwhile to use more expensive materials if they are of a higher performance. Yes. In fact, as I said, during the whole lifespan of such materials, it's very much the same as our own materials because there will be reduced cost in maintenance. Yes, I note your point about Princess Road. We will see to that. Next, Mr. Yim Kong, thank you. I thank the administration in deploying AI and high technology in road maintenance. Now the administration is using different means. They have RDDLs, RCAS, and RMMS, and also SUA. I'm more interested in the use of SEU, small unmanned aircraft. I'd like to know how effective is this device and how many SUAs do you have? When traffic is busy, and if you have petrol vehicles, it may add to our traffic volume. And I think SUA has an advantage in this regard. Will you consider using more SUAs? Now you have different smart technologies. I'd like to know whether you can apply them to all public roads in Hong Kong. If the answer is no, how much time do you think is needed to cover all roads in Hong Kong? And I'd like to know the cost saved, including manpower saved, by using such new technologies. 3 questions. The second and third questions are about coverage as well as cost. It was answered in the past, but then the administration can give a brief response. What about the use of SUAs? Thank you. And the use of SUAs, well, they have been used all along. So technology-wise, SUAs are effective. What we're doing now is, there must be an operator for an SUA. That is a legal requirement. We have to use a new strategy. Once the route is planned, then we can use this ultra visual arrangement. So the operator has to follow the SUA in a vehicle. No. We only we're now using SUAs to look at structures, bridge, etc. Yes, we are going to have fixed routes for SUAs, and that will do away with the need of an operator following the SUA. Mr. Yim is correct. After the routes are fixed, then in extreme weather, for instance, when typhoon signal number 8 is about to be hoisted, right now we send patrol vehicles to check our road conditions. In future, we can just use SUAs to check our major highways to see whether there is any tree collapses or flooding, etc. But we have to overcome some challenges first. As for whether we can cover all roads, the answer is yes. Our intention is to cover all public roads under the Highways Department once a year. As for the cost, yes, these technologies may be costly on procurement, but then we can save manpower and deploy manpower to do other tasks, and then we can have more accurate and sophisticated scanning. For instance, right now we may receive information there is a pothole on Nathan Road, and we may spend half an hour to identify the location. Right now, if we have new technologies, we know the exact location of the pothole right away. How many SUAs do you have? If my memory serves me, I do not have an exact figure. I would say around 20. They are mainly for checking structures, etc. In the future, we are going to outsource to a contractor, and then the number of SUAs will depend on the contractor. Dr. Wycott, thank you. Our roads are very busy. As a result, our road conditions, the paving materials, and the state of repair and maintenance are really a matter of concern. I think the government, the Highways Department, has catch up with times and has kept improving its technologies. I think this is commendable. I think the greatest challenge in road paving is our airport runways. I've checked the level of asphalt in use in our runways is of very high technology. The thickness and even the angle, etc., everything is by GPS, is fully automatic, and the finishing is excellent. If we can use that in our new roads, that's excellent. And if you have time, perhaps you should tell us more about the paving of our airport runways. I'm concerned about the disposal of excavated materials from our roads. Many years ago, I came to learn of a company in Hong Kong with the technology and also the management system for disposal of excavated materials on site. By that I mean a small-scale device just on the roadside. It can then break up excavated materials so that it can be reused in situ. This technology is being used on the mainland and is even exported overseas. I'd like to know whether we have these arrangements in Hong Kong.
Mr. Chitton, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Low, for your questions. In relation to the runway at the airport, yes, we use an automated system to pave the runway. But in relation to roads, we might not be able to use the same practice. The GPS system needs to be very precise. Sometimes we can only put in place road closure for 100 to 200 meters. That's why there are some constraints in relation to using this technology on the roads in Hong Kong. The roads in Hong Kong, the area isn't as large as the runways at the airport. As for excavated materials, we do recycle or reuse asphalt. After excavation, we transport asphalt back to the factory. We put excavated asphalt to new asphalt. This can reduce 30% of asphalt used. In relation to the technology of using heat, this is being used in Hong Kong. As asphalt will melt when it is being heated up. When it's being melted, we add new asphalt and then we crush it all together. This technology is quite mature in mainland China. In Hong Kong, as I said, we want to identify new technologies to address the issue of potholes. We are exploring the use of this technology involving heat. They are similar to irons actually, and we may need a line of vehicles to carry out such road works. We need to first of all master such technologies before we put them to full use. We'll first test this technology in some smaller scale road works. And our colleagues are already testing this technology and we're moving towards this direction. Thank you. Mr. Michael Tin. Thank you, Chairman. In 2019, I already said that the roads in Hong Kong were quite uneven. Long Chun Road, Chang Kwan Road, Yuen Long Road, Kam Sheung Road, Ching Chung Road, Tai Po Road, Fan Kam Highway, about 20 odd such roads. And I can name 20 odd roads with road defects. In 2024, the administration received 25,000 complaints about road conditions. This is indeed an issue that we have to attach importance to. Say for Yuen Long Road, the road conditions haven't been addressed. Anyone living in Yuen Long will tell you they have identified such issues. You didn't even try to repair such road conditions. I want to know why you didn't even address this condition. In mainland China, we have seen the new technology or material that is the new type of asphalt. It's said to be very good. For many roads in Hong Kong, sometimes we cannot pave the entire roads with asphalt. Say for bus terminus, we need to use concrete instead of asphalt. For road sections with a lot of heavy goods vehicles or heavy vehicles, we do need concrete instead of asphalt, however good quality it is. As for Kam Sheung Road, for instance, there are a lot of heavy vehicles. You cannot use asphalt to pave the entire section. You do need concrete. What is the term for this material? Is it fiber concrete? It's being used in mainland China. Have you used it? Have you tried it? You need to know under what circumstances you need to use concrete and asphalt. And that is my second question. Mr. Richard, 2 questions. Any very powerful concrete so that it can complement the use of asphalt on some roads in Hong Kong? According to your record, are there any roads that you haven't tried to carry out works on at all? Thank you. On Yunlong Road, as we can tell from the pictures, is paved with concrete. It's a very busy road. It's actually very difficult to carry out road repair works on concrete roads. You need to break it down and you need to put in concrete once again, and it will take a long time for roadworks to be completed. For such busy roads as Yunlong Road, it's not at all easy to put in place road closures. Unless there are dangers on the road such as potholes, then we may have to put in place road closures in order to address these issues. Just now I mentioned the setting up of the Strategic Road Maintenance Committee. Well, what about the very powerful concrete? That's what we call fiber concrete. Just now I mentioned highly modified asphalt as well. We're liaising with the suppliers in mainland China to see how we can introduce such new materials, that is fiber reinforced concrete. Bar tenons can be used less frequently. These concrete will have higher tensile strength. We have introduced the use of fiber reinforced concrete to the roads in Hong Kong. They dry more rapidly. The concrete plant in Hong Kong won't produce such fiber reinforced concrete in view of the low volume. We try to produce such concrete in low batches or in fewer batches. Afterwards, we'll try to use such materials on some roads in Hong Kong, and the next step ahead we will try to promote the wider use of such fiber reinforced concrete. Thank you. Next, Mr. Kenneth Lau. There are many aging roads in Hong Kong. In 2023, there were a total of 4,000 cases of road defects. These affect the commuting of Hong Kong people. It warrants our attention. And I'm glad to see that the Highways Department set up the Strategic Road Maintenance Committee in March. I support the introduction of technologies. I also support the introduction of RDDS and RCAS to identify road conditions or to identify defects on the roads. We used to feel a great difference between the roads in Shenzhen and those in Hong Kong. But now we can feel a great difference, but the other way around. Say Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge, they use another type of asphalt, and the feeling is very different. The level of noise emitted from vehicles and so on, we can feel a great difference. These roads are very even when it comes to the surface of these roads. We have extreme weather, and a lot of electric vehicles are very heavy. They weigh about hundreds of tons or hundreds of pounds instead. Technologies developed by leaps and bounds. With the increase in the number of electric vehicles, Does it affect the serviceability of roads in Hong Kong? Well, I have to declare, I know someone who works in the production of asphalt. Thank you. Mr. Richardson, thank you, member, for your questions. There is extreme weather in Hong Kong. Traffic is very busy on some roads in Hong Kong. Vehicles are getting heavier and heavier. Electric vehicles affect road conditions by causing wear and tear. In the face of these challenges, we have introduced a highly modified material, as we mentioned. They have greater tensile strength. When it's raining, asphalt roads are subject to cracks. When rain permeates through these cracks, potholes will be created. So after downpours, oftentimes we identify potholes that we'll have to work on. When it comes to uneven road surfaces, we carry out roadside works in one section after proceeding to another section of the road. If we can carry out such works at one go, that will be more helpful as we can minimize the undulation of roads. What about Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge? There is a new material used. Trinidad materials are used on Chiang Mai Bridge. It's a very special type of stones or gravel. It has great tensile strength, but it's very light. For Cross Harbour Bridge, we use this type of materials because of its light weight. The foundation will come at a cheaper price, but we do understand the cost of such materials is higher. And we've been able to identify another new type of material to replace such materials. In the future, for long bridges, we consider using this new type of materials. But they are equally durable, just they come with different features of their own. Members, please note "12 members have already spoken, and we do need to proceed to the next agenda item. I believe the next agenda item is of great interest to members. Well, Mr. Andrew Lam, is your question very simple? 1 minute? All right, thank you. I'd like to write on Mr. Michael Tin's point. That is the fiber reinforced concrete. You are introducing such fiber reinforced concrete, that is FRC. As I understand, there are different types of FRC. But some you use PP. Have you identified its impact on the environment, such as the particulates? Mr. Richardson, well, we are considering introducing the steel type of fiber reinforced concrete. Mr. Michael Tin has indicated that he'd like to speak. Any more member would like to speak? 1 minute for Mr. Michael Tin. Thank you.
I'm so happy to see that you have this superior form of concrete that dries very quickly and very highly durable. Now, if it's successful, you don't need to use asphalt at all. Why do you still have a mixed mold? So how, in what way will this superior asphalt be better than the superior concrete? First, the hardness. But then when it comes to comfort, asphalt road is much more comfortable. For concrete, there has to be ruts there. And as a result, when you travel on a concrete road, it's more bumpy. And sometimes it's also slippery, so anti-skid dressing is required. So concrete is good, but then when the gradient is high, and then it is not so safe and comfortable. So we have to round up more than a dozen members who spoke on this topic have indicated their support for the action plan to enhance the maintenance strategies of public works. Members of public roads and members have also raised cases for the administration to follow up on. And members also asked about whether there are already well-developed technologies that are being used on a regular basis, and the type of technologies that are still in the trial phase. And how can you ensure that you don't have to try out new technologies too frequently, and how you can lower manpower requirements so that we can have more effective road maintenance strategies. So you should keep going with the use of new technologies and materials in improving our road conditions. So we'll end the discussion of this item. We thank the administration team for attending this part of the meeting. Now we will continue. The next on the agenda is replacement or renewal of traffic control and surveillance systems at strategic roads. Please invite the administration team to join us. We have got paper CB3 690/2025-05 provided by the administration. Let us welcome from the administration, Mr. Liu Chen-san, Undersecretary for Transport and Logistics, Mr. Edward Mack, Deputy Secretary from the same bureau, Ms. Zhang Xiling, PAS, and from the Transport Department, and also EMSD, we've also got officials in attendance. Please refer to the attendance list already settled on our agenda. Members, please note that this is a financial proposal. So, members, in accordance with ROP 83A, if you have a direct or indirect pecuniary interest in this item, please declare the nature of interest involved before you speak. I will give the floor to the administration to walk us through the paper. Meanwhile, members, if you intend to speak, you can press the request to speak button now. And because of time constraint, we will only allow 4 minutes for each member in the first round. Now, over to you, Mr. Liu Chen-sing, Undersecretary for Transport and Logistics, and then we may have a PowerPoint presentation by another official. Now, I'd like to manage our time. I believe members already read the paper, so please be very succinct in your introduction to allow more time for our discussion. Mr. Liu. Thank you, Chair and members of the panel. The administration proposes to replace the traffic control and surveillance system of 2 tunnels and to renew the system of 3 major trunk roads. Now, tunnels and trunk roads are very important to our economy and to our people. So we rely on TCSC to ensure effective operation of tunnels and trunk roads to ensure the safety of our computers. Now, because of the state of the system, some of them are rather old and it's no longer cost effective to patch up these systems. So it is the department's professional assessment that we should replace the TCSC of the Western Harbour Crossing, the Cross Harbour Tunnel, and to renew the TCSS of the Hong Kong SWC, the Hong Kong Macau Bridge, and the Total Highway. Now, they've already reached the end of their servicing life. I'm talking about the 2 tunnels. Now, for the remaining trunk roads, it is still cost effective to use them. So we propose to renew some of the equipment and requirements. The total cost will be over $500 million. The new system will have new functions to enhance our ability to monitor traffic. It will also live up to the latest security requirements of our Digital Policy Office. And there will be the necessary infrastructure for smart tunnel management with the replacement and renewal. I now invite my colleague to brief you on our proposals. We urge members to support our proposal. With your blessing, we're going to apply for funding from the FC, and at the same time, we will start our tendering preparation so that we can start works as soon as possible. Thank you. Mr. Cheng from the EMSD. Mr. Cheng is responsible for tunnel works and also boundary crossing facilities, etc. Thank you. We'd like to brief members on our proposal to replace or renew of our TCSC as strategic roads. Now, there are 3 components to a TCSC, namely the central system, traffic surveillance system, and the traffic control system. The first part is a central system, totally computerized, linked up with the 2 remaining systems in order to upgrade our operation. So the second is a traffic surveillance system covering CCTV, vehicle detectors, etc., so that we can know the traffic conditions in real time. Down below, we have the third system, and is the traffic control system. We have lane control signal, variable speed limit sign, and variable message signs, etc., so that important messages can be sent to motorists in real time. Now, the new systems will comply with the latest government information security requirements. We will use new technology and also use smart management to enhance cost effectiveness. We're going to replace 2 TCSS of WHC and CHT. They started operation in 1997 and 2011 respectively. So they have been in use for 27 years and 13 years respectively. Now they are already dated, and the ability to ensure road safety is undermined, and it's also cost effective. It's also costly to maintain and repair them. We will also have 3 new TCSS for Shenzhen Western Corridor, the Hong Kong Macau Bridge, and the Total Harbour. They started operation in 2007, 2016, and 2016 respectively. They've been used for a long time, and it is necessary to upgrade the central system, part of the traffic control equipment, and also part of the traffic surveillance equipment. Now, for the new central system, it will improve system efficiency and comply with our latest IT protection requirements. We intend to set up a building information modeling BIM in order to track defects and also problems as soon as possible. We will also enhance our smart traffic management system to enhance cost effectiveness. Now, we are going to use clearer message of traffic information for road users. We will adopt LED technology with high light intensity, and we'll adopt digital cameras. We will adopt image processing technology, and then we'll be able to enhance our ability to respond to incidents on roads. We also have to upgrade our central system. We will install network intrusion detection system as endpoint detection and response system, and we'll also have different systems. We propose to create a new financial commitment of about $568 million for all 5 projects. We intend to start the preparation work in the first quarter of this year, and the preliminary design and tender documents will be available by the second quarter of 2026. We will select the contractors in the third quarter of 2026 and also the second quarter of 2027, and hopefully we can complete everything in Q4 2029. Thank you. We have 7 members on the list waiting to speak. So each member can have up to 4 minutes for questions and answers. Whether we can have a second round will depend on our progress. So let me read out the names. Deputy Chairman Mr. Yeo Pak Leung, Mr. Chen Hock Fong, Mr. Michael Tian, Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Frankie Yik, Mr. Chen Pui Leung, and Mr. Chen Han Pen. 4 minutes each, covering answers and questions. Deputy Chairman, Mr. Yeo Pak Leung. Thank you, Chair. On replacement and renewal of TCSS as strategic roads, I thank the administration for giving me many briefings on this subject. In fact, our TCSS are dated. Nowadays, we like to have smart commuting to ensure that we can have better safety at strategic roads. So it is a must that TCSS should be improved. When it comes to the Shenzhen Bay or Shenzhen Western Corridor and also the Hong Kong-Macau Bridge, these are cross-boundary closed roads. As we all know, there is no making U-turns as soon as you have entered these corridors. And during festivals, festive days, we have very heavy traffic here. There is often congestion. We hope that the traffic information can be made known to motorists well ahead, so that people will not only encounter congestion after they have gone into such corridors. This is very important. So with the new TCSS, I hope real-time road or traffic information can be disseminated to motorists well ahead. Given that these are cross-boundary facilities, hopefully there can also be real-time border crossing situation. You need information from the other side because it's now very common for people to drive to the mainland and vice versa. We should know whether the borders are very busy. That will facilitate journey planning and in the choice of border crossing points. I hope you can take into account these issues in the new TCSS to ensure a more pleasant traveling experience.
All right, thank you. Which official will take these questions? Under Secretary. Thank you. I thank Mr. Perry Yu for your support. If we can disseminate information in advance, this will benefit the commuting of members of the public. Our central system of the TCSS is connected to the Emergency Transport Coordination Center of the Transport Department, ETCC. Whenever we identify any incidents, the ETCC will disseminate such information, and this will help members of the public to better plan their trips. Some information is not disseminated by the ETCC. Some is disseminated by the BCP boundary control points. If we can improve coordination, users will find it easier to access information. Well, I think Mr. Perry Yu's questions are related to having advanced information about the road conditions or the vehicular flow on Shenzhen Bay Bridge. In your system, when you need to put in place updates or replacements, do you need to add more instructions to the systems? Which official will take this question from the TD? Thank you. Mr. Patrick Ho, thank you. When one is already in Shenzhen Bayport, one cannot turn around. We understand the situation. We aim to show information on a variable message signs. ETCC will be responsible for disseminating information. Thank you. Mr. Chen Hokfeng. Thank you. I'd like to ask a few questions. As the Undersecretary said just now, the projects, we haven't yet invited tenders. 500 million or so estimates. Is it possible that the return tender price will be drastically different from the estimates? Why don't you first of all invite tenders before you confirm the estimates? Smart mobility, smart motorway, there are going to be a lot of new initiatives. Is it possible to add new features to the system so the system can be enhanced on a regular basis? After we have finished this round of updates, how many more rounds in the future? We have a lot of motorways in Hong Kong. So what is your plan? Is it possible to save AP when we already finished the first round, so we don't have to spend extra money on AP this round? Is that right? Thank you. 4 questions. Undersecretary, I'll take the first question, and I will also take the third one. Regarding improvements to the system, I'll give the floor to the TD. Thank you. The 4th question regarding the tenders, I will invite my colleague from the EMSD to give you more information. We are putting in place different replacement works alongside other works, so the EMSD has a better grasp of the situation. Can we first of all invite tenders? Well, it's not just about installation and procurement. Pre-construction works are also entailed. Say we need to undertake investigation studies as well as design of the projects. Only after that can we start to invite tenders. So these projects are a little bit different from public works projects. We cannot invite tenders, so we cannot have a confirmed figures at this stage. The commitment isn't just about tenders. It concerns the entire process. Tenders only make up for a small part of the entire projects. And of course, the contents of different projects vary. So some of the contents of the tenders could be identical, but then there would also be some changes in different projects. That's exactly why we couldn't use exactly the same identical tenders we have used before. For the remaining questions, Mr. Patrick Ho, can new facilities be added later on? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chan. We've made enhancements to the system. As we introduced in the PowerPoint slide, there are new systems. That is the automatic detection systems. When it comes to the hardware, we have already changed or replaced the central system. When there are new facilities, yes, we'll be able to add more new facilities or equipment to the existing system. Under Secretary, we have already reviewed all tunnels and trunk roads in Hong Kong. We have a good grasp of the situation. There are 2 remaining tunnels that are under review. They are Tingsha Control Area and Tai Lam Tunnel, which will return to the government or which will vest in the government soon. Some tunnels have had their system updated just now. Another 8 tunnels are still replacing their systems or have their systems replaced just now. Mr. Chen is concerned about Tingsha Control Area as well as Tai Lam. In addition to these 2 tunnels, in the short term, you don't have to come back to the Council to apply for provision. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Michael Tin, I have 2 questions. I'd like to ask about the serviceable life of these systems. Let's talk about the WHC, Western Harbour Crossing. About $277 million to replace the system. It's been in use for 27 years. There are 2 reasons why we need to replace the system. 1, some parts are no longer available. They've become outdated. And the other reason is the lack of support of software. Sometimes the companies have already folded and they no longer support such software. In the case of the Western Harbour Crossing WHC, despite the high price tag, I understand this is quite reasonable given the fact that it's been used for 27 years. Each year, you can save about $240,000. You cannot source parts. The system is no longer supported by companies. This is in relation to the WHC. For Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, has been commissioned for only 8 years. The supplier already stopped providing support in relation to software, and I don't quite understand this point. You have already entered into contract with the supplier. You have the expected serviceable life, but it actually hinges on whether the company still exists. What about it no longer exists? Are you going to sue the company? What about if the company has already folded? How can the government ensure that we will have support throughout the serviceable life of a system? Well, you can ask the company to provide the code to you even if the company has already folded. All of a sudden, at the exit of the Western Harbour Crossing, if there is a traffic jam, we know that there is a traffic jam. We have information, but we don't know when the traffic jam will will disappear. Now we have a lot of big data. We have a basic idea as to the hours of traffic congestion. Say 1 hour, 10 minutes. Is it possible to provide such information through the new system? Thank you. For the second question, I will invite the TD to answer you. In relation to the projected traffic congestion time on roads, yes, we do have a system in relation to hardware and software. For projects in relation to IT, they face such challenges frequently. Hardware and software change quite rapidly. There are oftentimes frequent updates. These updates improve the system. That's why the supplier or the company wants you to update the system for a better performance of the system. And yes, we have this idea in mind. That's exactly why the serviceable life varies from one to another. Some 7 years to 8 years, whereas for others, probably up to 10 odd years. Well, why is that? In the INT sector, that is the habitat for the INT industry. The time varies. Well, is it settled clearly in the contract the support period of the system? What if the company has folded? In relation to the contents of the contracts, I will ask Mr. Patrico from the TD to take your question. As for the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, the central system has an operating system. Say in the context of mobile phones, in case of bugs, there are updates to plug the loopholes. So for Shenzhen Bayport or for Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, the Digital Policy Office may have to update the system for the sake of cybersecurity. For equipment, we haven't changed the equipment, hence a lower figure. Instead, we have improved the safety or the security coefficient of the central system. That's the situation. In Shenzhen Bay traffic congestion, when will traffic congestion be eased in that section of the road? We have a traffic analysis system where we use big data to analyze any changes in the weather. Say from Aberdeen to Legislative Council, it takes about 12 minutes. But in case of any incident or weather changes, we may expect a longer time. From Aberdeen to Legislative Council, and that information is provided through Hong Kong e-mobility. In relation to the number of control points, we cannot rely on big data, and big data cannot provide such information. That is why. Mr. Michael Tin, will you object to the administration to submit this proposal to the Finance Committee? Well, I'd like to ask about the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. You are not adding new features to the system. In fact, the supplier stops providing support. And that differs from adding new features to the system. These are two different concepts. So what is actually about the situation of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge? As I mentioned just now, the operating system, the supplier no longer provides support. Hence, the system is exposed to security loopholes. In fact, support is no longer provided to the system. Well, Mr. Michael Tin, if you would like to follow up, please press the button to request to speak in the second round. Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Chair. The issue is the replacement and renewal of TCSS. When the system is already old or obsolete, you have to replace it or upgrade it or renew it. I think that is what the paper is about. And the secretary told us that there are 8 such as strategic roles being done, and you are applying to cover 5 here, and you still have Thailand and Changsha on the pipeline, so there are 15 altogether. I'd like to know whether we've got only 15 strategic roads in Hong Kong. I have no objection to the replacement and renewal proposals. I believe they are necessary. Whether they are cost effective is another thing, but this is about our mindset. I said we're going to discuss smart transport next time. So do we have any strategy? We always talk about upgrading. Do we have this major strategy? You have already covered 9 strategic roads. They may not be obsolete or too old, but the question is whether these functions are still needed. Do we have any strategy? Do we have only got 15 strategic roads in mind? Or rather, should we have a broader idea of smart mobility initiatives? Well, we have already got a plan in mind. My colleague can supplement. In fact, we have more than 15 strategic roads. I said 8 have already been replaced or renewed. There are 6 newly commissioned, so there is no need to cover them. 5 are in this paper and 2 are under consideration. This list has covered all the strategic roads and tunnels. I defer to my colleague from the Transport Department. Mr. Ho, thank you for your question. Mr. Lam. Yes, in a smart road or smart motorway management, we have our principles. We plan to announce our blueprint this year. And this is about smart motoring management. And in our strategic study, we are going to announce a blueprint. Any follow-up? Well, I look forward to it. Mr. Frankie Yek. I speak to support the replacement and renewal of these systems. I just want to confirm. Now, the Western Harbour Crossing was handed back to the government a few years ago, and for the CHT more than a decade ago. I'd like to know whether we are still using analog systems and whether you will switch it to digital systems. I'm most concerned about whether you have added AI features to assist tunnel operators to identify incidents as soon as possible so as to deploy the right people to provide assistance and direct traffic there. Thank you. Can I first invite my colleague from the Transport Department to address Mr. Yik's question? Thank you, Mr. Yik, for your question. You're very correct. For WHC and CHD, we will replace the whole system. We used to have analog images. As a result, we were not able to carry out any analysis. In this exercise, we will replace it with a digital system. We can then use AI. For instance, a certain parcel has dropped from a goods vehicle. With the new system, we can detect a fallen object. It can be detected at once by AI, and then an alarm will be sent to the management staff, and then the right control personnel will be deployed to the site to address the problem that can greatly shorten our turnaround time. We do not just replace dated equipment. We will also use technology to enhance our response. Now, for this AI detection system, well, I was a victim when in the olden days for the CHT, you relied on people monitoring more than 30 monitors. So it was not easy to detect what was really happening. Now, with a new digital system, you have AI and also high definition cameras to help. I fully support your proposal. So the administration can confirm that new equipment and software using AI will be available to replace inspection by naked eyes. Yes, this can be confirmed. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Pui-Leung. In principle, I support the paper, though I have a few questions. According to the paper, for WHC and also CHT, the costs are quite different. One is 277 million and the other 183 million dollars, whereas the cost for the breakdown unit costs are very much the same. So why is there a difference of 93 million dollars? And in WHC and CHT, you will employ engineering staff that will account for 8% of the cost, and site supervision, it will also account for 5% of the cost. And item B, I'd like to understand about another 8% to the EMSD project management charges. These together already take up 21% of the total budget. So I'd like to understand why or how do you fix this management fees, management charges? In the remaining 3 projects, the percentage is as high as 16%. So I'd like to understand what this project management charges from EMSD is about. I will invite the EMSD to explain. As for the cost difference for WHC and CHT, as we all know, the former has got 6 lanes, and for the latter, 4 lanes, dual-way. So the amount, the project cost will depend on the volume of works. For Western Harbour Crossing, there are 6 lanes, and also the approach roads are wider in scope, so as a result, it's more expensive. That's the main reason for the price differential. And for EMSTC project management charges are deferred to the EMSD. Yes, we have a trading fund. It was established based on the relevant legislation to provide consultancy services to government projects. The trading fund operates on a cost recovery basis. And then in 2024, we submitted a report to LegCo, and the rate of return was only 1.5% for the trading fund in 2023-24. The charges and the consultancy charges are 16% in total. This is in line with the level of fees chargeable to other government projects by the EMSD. Now, we have structural engineering and also civil works engineering and also traffic, etc. We have to employ site staff that will take about 5% of the budget. Different types of site staff will coordinate with the different projects that will enhance the quality of supervision. Site staff will also monitor works on site and to ensure that the projects can be completed on time. Mr. Chan is concerned about the high project costs. In fact, some of the costs are related to monitoring of projects. Follow up, Mr. Chan Puyin. I'd like to know the rationale for fixing the percentage. Is it because for a project you have employed an consultancy team and so the level is lower? I'd like to know whether you have benchmarked with the market. It's true that the money will only go from one government department to another, but then if the fees are lower, then perhaps the whole project will be more cost effective. Well, we look at the overall cost and also past projects is usually about 16% of project cost, and the charge is similar to that charged by similar organizations. For each and every project, we give individual consideration, and we have to look at the scope and nature and the complexity of works involved. I don't know whether Mr. Chan Pui-Lang is happy with that, but then when the paper goes to the FC, if you have further questions, you can ask at FC meeting. And Mr. Chan Pui-Lang has indicated his support for the funding proposal for submission to the Finance Committee. Mr. Chen Han-pan, thank you, Chair. In principle, I also support the paper because we have to catch up with times. With technological development, we really have to upgrade our TCSS. So I give my support in principle to the paper. But then I'm also concerned about the cost. So I ask these questions. By the time you go to the FC, I hope you can give us more detailed information and explanation. For the first two projects, you are going to employ a consultant, and that will cost more than $10 million. Of course, the consultant will help in design and also project planning. You are going to spend $7 million on project supervision. You have consultants, you have also supervisors, and also the government to take over the project, and you are going to spend 16% of your project budget. So is my understanding correct? We're paying double the amount of consultancy fees. Why do we have to do that? If we have the EMSD, can we do away with a consultant? And if we have employed a consultant, why do we need the EMSD as well? Why do we have to pay double? This is my first question. And secondly, what you say that you have the relevant legislation covering the operation of your trading fund, but whether you are benchmarking with the market, we don't know. Or have you just follow your long-standing arrangement? Given that we have a financial deficit, you have to reconsider. If you can address these questions today, all the best, so we don't have to ask again at the Finance Committee. If you can't, then be prepared that we're going to ask you these questions again. Well, before we continue, I have to do some housekeeping. Now, there are two more members planning to ask questions. It is now 12:43. I'd like to extend the meeting by 15 minutes. And I'll draw the line as soon as Mr. Yim Kwong has started, because after our discussion, we have to vote on whether we support the proposals. I don't think that is necessary. We've all indicated our support for the paper. So I'll draw a line after Mr. Yim Kwong has started. So if there are members in the complex that want to ask questions, do come back quickly.
Under Secretary, I will ask the EMSD to supplement. But I have to say that in relation to the EMSTF, how is it different from that in other projects? For the other projects, the expenditure is included in the recurrent expenditure of the relevant department. However, when it comes to the EMSTF, the expenditure is included in the project of the trading fund. EMSD, thank you. As with other public works departments, there are consultant teams in other projects. The EMSTF is similar to a project consultant. We invite government consultant to work together in order to ensure the smooth implementation of the initiatives. Regarding the TCS system, a lot of electrical and mechanical systems are involved, say the central system. Well, I understand. As the Undersecretary just now said, that is the same for a lot of different projects. Well, we already have a consultant, or the EMSD could be responsible for that. Why do we still need to pay twice? Well, each of them has their own role. For consultants, they are responsible for design, whereas for the EMSD, we need to ensure the delivery of the projects and the quality check. These are specialized skills. These are highly technical. The transport department is responsible for that. But then they aren't experts in electrical and mechanical installations. That's why we need to engage the help of the EMSD. While Dr. Ben Chen's question is valid, consultant, EMSD, it seems that you are paying twice. You are paying different departments. That's why Dr. Ben Chen asked whether you could save the costs in this regard. And I believe you won't have much to add. After the meeting, probably the administration may provide more information. Dr. Ben Chen, well, probably I don't understand it correctly. But I believe that is a question the members of the public want to ask as well. If you cannot provide an answer today, probably you can provide an answer after the meeting in order to avoid misunderstanding. That is indeed a valid question. Probably we can provide information after the meeting. If you may provide information before the finance committee meeting, that will help you, or that will help our discussion at the finance committee. You may provide information after the meeting, not just in response to Dr. Ben Chen, but to other members as well. Next, Mr. Yim Kong. Thank you, Chairman. I support the updates of the systems. I'd like to follow up on the administration's response. After updates, there will be speedier response to incidents. Say if there is an accident in the tunnel, you mention quicker, but then how much quicker you can address the situation or you can handle the incidents. International standards is 3 minutes. Can you meet the international standard? I'd like the administration to tell us more. My next question is, data will be retrieved at a faster rate after completion of the updates. Will there be over-regulation? Mr. Liu? Yes, after we switch from analog to digital, our standard is that the auto detection system is within 10 seconds. we notice fallen objects from a lorry, for instance. In the system, 10 seconds later, AI will detect the fallen objects and notify the personnel in the tunnel. Staff members will arrive at the scene 2 minutes later, so there will be quicker response after the updates. In relation to personal privacy, some unnecessary information is masked. That's why there is no such concern. We have already masked some information. I will ask 2 questions. I'm the last member to speak. First of all, of course, I support the replacement and the renewal of the TCS system. This is a very important system. We need to move with the times. The system may become out of date, it may lack support, or there are new technologies. When we replace and renew the system, if we can enhance the efficiency of the management of the roads in case of incidents on the roads, an updated system will allow manpower to allow personnel to handle these incidents much faster. Just now, members asked about the cost effectiveness issue. We understand there are some older systems which you have to replace, but then if you have to replace new systems, will you provide us with more information after the meeting, or will you answer these questions at the Finance Committee? When you replace and renew the systems, we understand innovative technologies developed by leaps and bounds. So in the course of the design, configuration, requirements of the systems, will you accept open source? Will you also accept plug and play? Which means if there are updates in the future, you don't need to replace the entire system. You only need to plug the component so that you can add new features to the existing system without having to replace the entire system. This will ensure greater flexibility. Next, if you need to replace and renew the system, do you plan to engage one contractor that is going to be responsible for all projects, or are you going to engage in different contractors for different replacements? Each proposal has its own pros and cons. If you engage one contractor, there are worries over whether one contractor can finish all the tasks, but then the cost will be lower. That is the benefit. If there are multiple contractors, when there are replacements or renewals needed in the future, that would lead to different problems. I will defer to the TD in relation to the design of the system. I will first talk about tendering. We adopt an open and a fair manner in relation to tendering processes in the government. We also have clear code of practice and guidelines. In relation to tenders, we not only take into account the tender price, we also take into account the performance and the technical aspect of the contractor. We've heard, Chairman, about your view. We'll take it on board. We'll have to decide on the tender method first. At present, we haven't yet decided on the tendering method That is whether we would engage one contractor or multiple contractors. But Chairman, rest assured, will take into account the cost effectiveness. Thank you. Next, I will defer to the TD. Mr. Patrick Ho, in relation to cost effectiveness, as I mentioned, 8 years for some projects. Wind Server 2008 is used in some servers or in some systems, so it is no longer supported. Please use Chinese or English only. Thank you. We're using Windows 2008, so it's no longer supported. There are no longer updates. Therefore, we need to update the system. In forthcoming tenders, will there be open source code? Well, we keep an open mind. I understand that is the function we need. So we keep the tenders open. Tender bidders may offer different operating systems, and that makes the entire process more flexible. All members have already spoken in the first round. Now, on to the second round. Mr. Michael Tin has indicated that he'd like to speak. 3 minutes for Mr. Michael Tin. Thank you. Well, I'm none the wiser now. I still cannot figure it out. There are only 2 reasons you come to us to ask for provision. 1, the supplier no longer provides support. 2, you have already changed your requirement, so you need to update the systems. If you come to the council and ask for provision because you need to renew the system, well, we need to scrutinize your proposals one by one. I'm using iPhone 15 and I'm waiting for iPhone 17. I need to update my iPhone because there are a lot of tasks I cannot do. No problem, you can come to us and ask for provision. But now, in many cases, the suppliers no longer provide support. They surrender, so to speak. They cease providing support. Say for the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, in a paper you said that the supplier no longer provides support, and the central system will also not be supported. You can say the same for other applications in the future. So I find it ridiculous when the government enters in a contract with suppliers. There's no safeguard. Just now, what about open source? If you have a source code, even if the supplier no longer provides support, you can engage another supplier to provide support with the open source code. Now you need to request the supplier to provide source code. You aren't welcoming the supplier to provide the source code. So in the case of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, if what you say is true, please don't write a paper like this. It's misleading. What I see from the paper is different from what you said just now. Next, in relation to WHC, the serviceable life is 27 years, whereas for the CHT, 13 years. Total highway, 8 years. The figures differ. Well, you need to ensure there is consistency, otherwise you can sue the supplier. Well, administration, you may try to answer Mr. Makutin's questions. If you cannot provide answers today, you may provide a written reply. After all, members may ask such questions at the Finance Committee as well. I will give you a detailed reply after the meeting, but simply put, we need to consider a basket of factors in deciding whether we will replace the systems. We don't just hinge on one single factor. All right, that wraps up our discussion on the replacement and renewal of the TCS system as strategic roads. Most members support submitting this proposal to the Finance Committee for discussion or for scrutiny. That wraps up our discussion of the agenda item number 4. I thank the administration for coming to this meeting. Agenda item number 5. Any other business? There being no other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you, members.